Hi everyone, it's Mr. Canadian Dad here again to discuss a topic in greater detail that I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, and that is the REACTOR DNA. You can find more information about the REACTOR DNA on the REACTOR website or in one of their product manuals like this one that I have. As some of you know, if you've checked out the REACTOR website, you know that REACTOR has set out to create the best built performance sports watch, period. And in order to do that, they've come up with a set of core features that are common to most all of the REACTOR watches, and that is their DNA. If you look at the product menu, you can see that product DNA is made up of a solid 316L stainless steel or titanium case, triple O-ring screw-down crown with integral crown guards, extraordinarily bright Swiss superluminova dials and hands, solid screw bar case to band attachments, solid forged case backs that we'll discuss, and triple secure clasp closures on their bracelets. There are some other unique characteristics and features of each REACTOR watch as well that I would like to mention. Specifically, each one has a K1 hardened Japanese mineral crystal. They have free-floating bracelet lugs for ease of fit to all wrist sizes, as well as the curved lugs on each watch. They also use durable, more reliable, shock-resistant Japanese quartz movements instead of Swiss movements. Each watch is double tested for water resistance with the crown securely tight and with the crown also open. And the last two are that the REACTOR watches are reasonably priced compared to other high-quality sports watches. And the last feature is the 2-year unconditional warranty of each watch. If it breaks, they will fix it. So let's go on and discuss each one of these features a little bit more in detail. First of all, the solid 316L stainless steel or titanium cases of the watches. They use marine grade stainless steel or titanium, in the case of my Gamma titanium here, that does not discolor in salt water even after many years of use. These solid forged cases are used because of their extreme durability and quality. And the highly polished stainless steel finishes, as well as the black titanium nitride and gold plated finishes, are extremely durable and long lasting, including the titanium finish of this Gamma titanium watch that I recently purchased. I've had it for almost a month now and still do not have any noticeable scratches on the watch anywhere. It's really quite a durable finish. Second of all, the triple O-ring screw-down crown with integral crown guards, which is common to all their watches. The second feature of the REACTOR DNA is the triple O-ring screw-down crown, and also with integral crown guards. This is typically a source of weakness for most sports watches, is the crown and the sealing of the crown when you're in water. REACTOR attacks that head on by having triple O-ring, rubber O-ring seals on each one of their crowns. This is great for people like me that occasionally forgets to tighten down my crown when I hit in the water. It is tested and certified to be waterproof even with the crown open at 100 meters, and then of course it's tested and certified again when the crown is securely fastened. Each crown carries the international trefoil warning symbol of radioactivity that's stamped on the crown. It's kind of cool, interesting looking. The third feature of the REACTOR DNA is the extraordinarily bright Swiss superluminova dials and hands. The nuclear-inspired luminescent and radioactive material tritium was originally the inspired name and concept of the REACTOR brand. Tritium gas-filled glass tubes have a constant glow or lume for an average half-life of 12.7 years. During the early history of REACTOR, Jimmy Ohms discovered that Swiss superluminova from RC Tritech in St. Gallen, Switzerland, was the best, and soon realized that the benefits of this material to be used in his watches. Swiss superluminova works like a light battery that has to be charged with sunlight or artificial light. Charging the superluminova, and I'm going to call it probably lume here because superluminova is so hard to say, causes the electrons to be lifted or to stand up, and then as the electrons fall back down, that gives off the brightness of the lume. The length of time that the lume stays bright varies based on the amount of lume that's used, the quality of the lume, the particle size of the powder used in making the lume, and the process to apply the superluminova to the watch. Reactor has perfected a process that they use for their watches, which is extremely extensive and quite time and labor intensive. And that is that they paint the lume, a white or other color base coat where they need to on the hands and on the face. And then they silk screen, lining up perfectly so you get perfectly straight and clear edges, silk screening each layer and then baking each layer in between applications. These 8 layers gives the optimal super luminescence of the Reactor watches. They tested it and went to 9 layers and it started to degrade at that point, so they realized that 8 layers was the optimal amount of lume to use. During development also there was some testing done on their watches, and the Gamma watch actually came out as a winner in a head-to-head battle against other sports watches for lume. It lasted 24 hours and outlasted most of the other brands. Very, very good results from that. On this watch, you'll notice here, I don't know if you can see it exactly because of the minute hand on the watch, but it says Swiss Illumination T25. The T25 designation on some models stands for the radiation limit allowable for the tritium tubes, in this case 25 millirads. 25 millirads is about 20 times less radiation than you'd get from a single dental x-ray. Tritium is a weak beta emitter, and weak beta particles cannot penetrate human skin, let alone get through a forged case or a mineral crystal. So you're pretty safe with the tritium tubes. I don't have any dark pictures of the lume, but if you look at their product manual, you can see what it looks like, the brightness when they're fully charged, and then what it looks like when you just have the tritium tubes and the luminescence is worn off of the superluminova. You can see on the watches that have the never dark system or technology that the tritium gas tube at the top is orange, and then the other tubes on the hands and the other locations are green. The fourth feature of each Reactor watch's DNA is the solid screw bar case to band attachments. These screw bars are very, very rugged and very strong. They have common Allen head screws for each one of them as well. It's the same size on each watch. So if you have the right Allen head screw tool for your watch, you probably can undo every single band that's out there on the other Reactor watches. As you can see, they're all the same head size. The fifth feature or characteristic of the Reactor DNA is the solid forged case back. I've got my heavy water tides version here, and it's easier to see the case back with this model. But as you can see, there's a heavy center of mass on all of their forged case backs. This is completely opposite to most other sports watches who have a thinner case back, so it makes them extremely durable, and there's absolutely no deformity or torsion of the case backs under pressure, which ensures no leaks ever and excellent long-term durability. You can look at a video on the Reactor website that shows them shooting a .22 long rifle cartridge bullet at the back of, I believe it's the Critical Mass watch, and then what happens with that bullet, and then they do the same with one of the competitions, and you can see the result. The sixth characteristic of the Reactor DNA is the triple secure clasp enclosure on their bracelets. As you can see, it takes 3 movements, 1, 2, and 3, squeezing the clasp to open up their bracelets. It has a really good feel and a good click to the closure. They have rounded edges and smooth, slim feel to them. I like the width at 22 millimeters of this band. I like a wider band rather than some of the other narrower bands that I have, like for example on the Rolex Submariner, which is a little bit narrower. It feels good on my wrist. Very comfortable, and the triple clasp enclosure ensures that there's no accidental opening of the closure. The seventh feature of the Reactor DNA is the K1 hardened Japanese mineral crystal. This crystal is 15% less scratch resistant than sapphire. However, it is 400% more shock and shatter resistant than sapphire crystals, which is better in line with the overall goal of sports performance that is the goal of the Reactor watches. To date, I don't have any scratches on any of the crystals of my Reactor watches, and so I haven't had any problems with the wear of the scratch-resistant crystals. Number 8 on the features is the free-floating bracelet lugs that aids in the ease of fit to all wrist sizes. As you can see, that the lugs actually will bend and adjust to any wrist size, whether you're Mega Man and have a wrist this big. Also, the curved lugs will contribute to that comfort and wearability of the watch. Number 9 is the durable and more reliable shock-resistant Japanese quartz movements of their watches. Look at go back to the gamma here. This watch that I've had for a while, and I just tested it recently, comparing it to atomic time, and I tested it for 6 days, and after 6 days I found that it was 0.2 of a second slow, or 1/5 of a second slow after 6 days compared to atomic time. That, to me, is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to continue to test it over the next month and see how it compares after a month of usage to atomic time. But that's extremely accurate and definitely within the limits that I would use it for. Number 10 is the double-tested water-resistant crown. Each Reactor watch is tested with the crown open at 100 meters of pressure, so that you know it's secure and safe even with the crown open. And then it's tested at their full pressure tested or declared level. This one is at 300 meters with the crown tightly secured. The 11th feature of the Reactor DNA is the reasonability of price. The majority or the core price point of the Reactor watches is in the $300 to $800 range, or $350 to $800 range for their watches. Majority of them being around the $300 to $500 range. It's very rare to find a watch with these high qualities to be in that price range, and so they are extremely reasonable watches. You can start at the low end with the heavy water watches, which are a little bit more, little less priced with fewer features, and move on up through the critical mass brands and some of the other ones that are quite nice and dressy, the titanium watches, and then finally go up into the higher priced models like the Poseidon limited edition like I have here, which is around the high end of that mark. The best feature that I know of for the Reactor watches by far is the 2-year unconditional guarantee. If it breaks, send it back to them, they'll fix it. It's an amazing and unique warranty in the business. Additionally, Reactor knows that we watch fanatics hate to be without our watches, and so when we send them our watch, they try and get them in and out of repair as fast as possible, get them back to you in your hands so that you can continue to enjoy the watch. As you can see a little closer, the day designation, the day label there is in red. It says Sunday, the 20th. That's quite nice. All other days are black, so it's just another little polished feature and characteristic of the watches that make it stand just a little step above the others. Well, I hope you liked this review. Check out my other video posts online, and look forward to additional reviews in the future. There's some new models coming out from Reactor, and I hope to get my hands on some of them to be able to review some new stuff coming out from Reactor in the future. Take care.